Thank you for joining the OnActuate Microsoft webcast. Accelerate your food and beverage business with Microsoft Dynamics 365. My name is Dennis Lacey. I'm Vice President of OnActuate and focused on the FMCG, the fast-moving consumer goods sector. We're very pleased to have you today. In terms of logistics, please submit any questions you have in chat, and they'll be answered at the end of the session by our subject matter experts in this sector. We can move to the next slide. Okay, in terms of the agenda, I'll do a quick introduction, talk about the pain points really in terms of the solution that we're going to present today and what we're addressing. Today, we're focused on what's new in Microsoft, and what's great about that, and we have the lead that I'll introduce for Microsoft, is the number of, if you like, releases of enhanced functionality that have come out in the last year from Microsoft. And I'm sure you've heard about artificial intelligence. It's not new, but what is new is the evolution of applying this technology to business applications. So you'll see here where both in core product solutions of Microsoft, as well as added to specific needs that bottlers and food beverage companies are enhancing that process both from a directive and let's call it a co-pilot perspective. So some real life examples. We'll talk about customer success stories and the value they're getting from the solutions, and then we'll be ending in about a half an hour with again, with any questions. In terms of, in addition to myself, we have Mark Gower, and Mark is the Global Solutions Lead for Microsoft Coca-Cola. So this is one of the few, if you like, strategic clients that Microsoft has a management team globally involved in supporting them. And it attests to the importance of this sector and the importance of delivering value solutions to our clients. In terms of the solution itself that we're presenting, the processes of the automation and enhanced with AI that we're presenting, Satapa Saha is going to lead that, and I'll be passing it on to her in a few seconds. Next slide. I'll hand it over to Mark.
Yes, good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the session today. I want to just pause on one slide to demonstrate the extent and the momentum that we're having with Dynamics 365 across the Coca-Cola bottling community. We probably the only customer in the world that has got more than 23,000 finance and supply chain or ERP users deployed within a single customer. And it gives you an idea of this, the way that we can scale with this offering. Because Coca-Cola is such an important customer within Microsoft, we're working tirelessly behind the scenes to ensure that finance and supply chain has more and more inherent and standard capability to meet the requirements of the food and beverage industry. To give you an example, very few ERP systems out there have the ability to manage the pricing complexity that a food and beverage organization needs to have without any customizations. And what we did was we built this capability specifically for Coca-Cola, and this has now been retrofitted back into the product as a standard capability. So as we start, as we proceed with these customizations, more and more of them are landing within the standard offering. We're pretty excited about this and believe that the momentum we now have is unstoppable. Just this morning, I got news of another 3 bottlers in South America that have now standardized on finance and supply chain. I think it would be amiss for me not to speak about the leading efforts that we have when it comes to AI and co-pilot capabilities. The way that we're improving and automating the collection capability, demand planning, the requirements planning for production, the automation of the distribution capabilities, all using more and more AI that is being embedded and is available in these offerings today. So with that, I'd like to hand back to Dennis and really look forward to answering any questions that you may have and assisting you from a Microsoft perspective in rolling out and extending your Dynamics 365 systems. Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you. Next slide, please. In terms of OnActuate solutions and services, a key thing is, and just to add on to what Mark said, is it's the breadth of the solutions that meet client requirements broadly going forward. When you see that slide, you'll look at some very large and as well as small and medium-sized firms across the world, and so they have varying needs. They have needs related to the breadth of the solution, as well as the requirements specific to the industry and specific to that particular client. So it's important as a partner, OnActuate in this case, to support if you like, the full platform of solutions. So that includes all of the ERPs, the business applications, supporting their services, whether they be on the cloud or be it on premise, as well as customer engagement, marketing and sales and support, as well as today what we call the enabling technologies. And certainly part of that, and a key part of that, is AI and the Power Platform analytics and predictive and analytics that these particular clients use extensively. Next slide. In terms of the business challenges, I'll quickly go through what we see when we talk to our clients and prospective clients, if you like, day in, day out, as well as what we're seeing more of in terms of enhanced requirements going forward. So disconnected systems has been certainly, one of the items that continues to be a key requirement. Over time, clients acquire, multiple systems, and they simply become harder to maintain and more costly. Having this broader platform solution of Dynamics 365 removes the third-party systems they don't need, as Dynamics 365 has become not only more technology advanced, but much more robust in terms of functionality. And it's on the cloud, and the cloud itself facilitates much more connectivity to all of those systems. Adapting to their requirements is another need that we see on an ongoing basis for food and beverage. So sustainability, the 3 R's, have become, if you like, a key requirement going forward to meet standards, but also reduce costs. So we've helped bottlers, we've helped clients in this industry, adhere to both the standards, but at the same time, reduce their costs in terms of materials as well as labor cost. The other area that is key is health and leveraging the processes, including embedded AI, to make them more efficient and respond quickly and grow their business. In terms of growing their business, evolving and scaling is critical, and being able to adapt and meet market demands fast in the FMCG, fast-moving consumer goods, is key. So these solutions need to be flexible, adaptable, evolve and scale, but at the same time supportable. And you'll see that as we go through this session. I'll pass this over to Sutapa.
Thank you, Dennis. Welcome, everyone. As we already discussed in this slide, that we have quite a few challenges in the FMCG sector. I would like to discuss the critical components which helps the business to meet these demands that Dennis pointed out. While we talk about the challenges, we'll also discuss how these features are addressed in OnActuate's FMCG solution, which eliminates such roadblocks and helps the customers to meet this evolving market. While the OnActuate's FMCG solution offers a lot of features with respect to managing sales generative assets or quality assurance, auto replenishment, scheme management, MTs management, case unit conversion. For the purpose of today's session, we are going to talk about the two primary ones, which are the most utilized ones in our FMCG's clients that we have implemented so far. One is the auto replenishment and one is the MTs management. Apart from those two, we are also going to discuss few more attributes of the OnActuate's offerings, which help to meet certain requirements of these FMCG clients with respect to demand planning, data confluence, and Weasel. We'll talk a little bit more about each of these topics as we move forward. The first one that I want to discuss is the auto replenishment for distributors. When we spoke to our clients and the analysis phases of the projects, the foremost issue that came up into on the board was that of visibility. Our manufacturers do not have visibility about how much the distributors can stock up and how much is required to basically meet the sales expectations of the customers. When we talk about visibility, we also cannot deny the fact that the distributors always do not have complete clarity of how much a particular product supply impacts the overall brand positioning and the customer expectation. Therefore, it became the responsibility of the manufacturers to take care of the distribution segment as well. To address this challenge, we incorporated the auto replenishment feature in our FMCG solution. The FMCG solution came up with a couple of more specific segments like master data management, receiving data from our distributors' existing DMS, and then processing those data in order to identify the stock gap in D365 and FNSC. We also created a couple of reports in order to give clarity and provide transparency of how the replenishment module is working. To explain a little more about it, I would explain it with a flow chart. Now here we have the two components that we talked about, one about the master data and one is the process overview. We have certain master data parameters with respect to determining how much is the go down capacity of a distributor, how much is actually allocated to the manufacturer, and how does he plan to keep each stock for per SKU wise depending upon the overall capacity. We also determined how much is the vehicle capacity based on quantity, volume, classifying items into different SKU levels based on how much they are sold for. Like we can determine that L1 is the most fast moving one and so on and so forth. And then combining all of these parameters to compute the overall stock gap calculation. Now, how does the stock gap calculation work? It basically considers all of the above master data updates along with the closing stock, which is integrated with an API with their existing DMS. Considering that not all distributors will be very tech savvy, we also incorporated a very simple Excel file integration, which will report the closing stock of our distributors. All of those data is then churned and processed with the data logics given into the system inbuilt. And I provide a stock gap calculation and then give the system, the user to basically convert those particular data into say sales orders. From there, the standard flow comes in where they can change if the suggested calculation is not appropriate or they would want to make certain adjustments into that and then go on from there based on any offline discussions. The standard flow of shipping, delivering, and invoice then goes seamlessly into the process system. Then we relate all of these processes into the D365 screens. This screen kind of highlights the master data configuration where a part of it is into the standard where we can see that the customer has linked with a warehouse capacity and an ARS level with their vehicle group, which are all default values. Then we also have certain independent masters like distributors, utilization, item contribution, and then item classification. These all data is then used to identify the stock gap calculation. Here we can see that the stock gap staging data gives you an overview of how much quantity is the go down's capacity and how much should the stock gap be calculated for a particular date. We can also see item-wise details in the second screen where we can see that how much is per item-wise calculation that system is suggesting. It also gives you an overview of what is the vehicle's capacity in particular volume, in weight, in quantity. This kind of screens help the user to be very clear about how he wants to convert those quantities into orders. We also have few reports which are the core of ensuring that the auto replenishment does not break through the basic logics of credits and controls in the system. It also ensures that the manufacturer does not overstock a particular distributor using the excess stock details reports. So these are certain features that are a part of the auto replenishment module to give you a very high level explanation of that feature. The next one that we're going to talk about is the empties management. Empties management is a very important sustainable tool in today's day and age where all the customers are moving towards eco-friendly option because they understand the impact of leaving a trace in the environment. But when we talk about empties management, we also have to consider there are quite a lot of practical challenges with respect to this particular process. We have product integration because there are empties which are utilized in production cycles and sales cycles. The trackability of where the empties are lying at the current moment, their valuation, their adaptability to handle unstructured processes. The OnActuate FNB solution kind of addresses all of these concerns in order to handle the complex processes that we have in this sector. To explain a little bit more, I will explain it with the diagram here. Now, this is a process overview that we have built in D365 as a part of our solution. The first step being the procurement of empty bottles, and then creation of those empty bottles into assets, considering the volume and the valuation of the empty bottles, they are converted into assets. But also considering that they are used in the production cycle, we have to create them as an inventory as well. Then the items are transferred to the production floor where they are converted into an FG and then they move along with the FG to the warehouse till the customer until at the point of consumption they return it back to us from the customers. From there, we have our auto check-in process where the empties are segregated, there is a quality check, and then they are again transferred back to do the process again. So this is how a high-level overview of the empties process. To explain a little better, I'll show it to you in the system. So here we have the release products. I'll just give you an example of a Coca-Cola bottle of 200 ml. This is an FG item for sure. And then we have different types of empties linked into the item master itself. This is the details tab, which is for the OnActuate solution. We have a crate item and the bottle item, which is linked to each of the release products. Once the items are linked, a sales order, once shipped, creates movement of all the transactions. We can always track that when a Coke bottle is sold out, the item numbers for the corresponding crate and the bottles are moved out from the system. This particular screen tracks every movement that happens for these particular empty bottles. Once it is shipped, it is recorded. Once we receive it back, we get it again from the customers, and we can derive a lot of reports with respect to this data. So this is how the empties management solution works in the OnActuate's FMCG solution. Coming back to our process flow, the next one that I want to talk about is the automated demand planning. The automated demand planning is a generation collaborative planning solution. This is powered by best-in-class algorithms that is provided by Microsoft as of date. It has a lot of algorithms based on your data and the time and the kind of business that you are into. We have Auto Arima, we have Prophet. We also have the feature to let the system determine the best possible fit based on its machine learning modules and then suggest you the best possible approach. The best fit model also helps you to link different kinds of forecasting models on different products, making it very dynamic to handle where a business operates in different segments. Apart from the standard modules that are given, We also have the option to customize our own algorithm, where you can either use a partial customization where you enhance the existing ones, or you can also build one from scratch. The OnActuate bottling solution, as well as the FMCG overall solution, wants to incorporate all of this uh, solutions provided by Microsoft and enhance the solution further for building forecasting solutions for our customers as per their requirement. So all this particular solution also helps us meet the challenge of different data sources where our current data may be based out of a legacy system, and and also into D365. So it can source data from multiple applications. It can also use very simple Excel sheets data where you can just upload the file and it can consider it for the forecasting module calculation. The next one that I want to touch base on is the data confluence and insight. Data confluence and insight for OnActuate is basically a Power BI dashboard that we created for one of our bottling clients' POC. As you can see, the Power BI dashboard for that client was primarily focused on the sales, where they wanted to see the sales growth over the years, see the geographical impact of their sales transaction, look at which product is selling the most or which brand is selling the most. And this kind of dashboard was provided to them to meet that requirement. The dashboard created was very interactive and very easy to use, bringing transparency across the entire systems. To give you a little detail about how this dashboard works, I would like to demonstrate the Power BI dashboard that we have. Here we can see the dashboard now live. When we look at the data trends, this is the sales growth over the years. The system is capable to drill through each of these years further and look at quarter-wise data. We can also drill down further and check month-wise analysis if we want to. When you will want to look at what particular month's impact on the charts that are derived, you can just simply click on that and it will determine how much is that particular month's share. So you can see the UI is very easy to use and it gives you an overall view. You can also see the data in the map view, or you can look at it as a tabular version as well. So this is a very good representation of the data confluence created by OnActuate. The last one that we want to talk about is Beazle. Now, what is Beazle? Beazle is basically a chatbot created for another one of our bottlers, which kind of was powered by Copilot. The requirement of the client was very simple, that they wanted the business to understand what are the new process which were re-engineered with an implementation of an ERP. In order to handle that, they had a bunch of documents that were user manuals, SOPs, which were old as well as new. And they wanted the employees to have clear visibility of how the process has been restructured. So this kind of solution helps a lot to the employees, where they can simply go and ask the chatbot specific questions of what they want to do in the system, and the chatbot can suggest them. Since then, the Copilot has enhanced a lot, but the core development that OnActuate did here was to customize the algorithm behind the scenes. The way we slice and dice the data as per the client's requirement to look into specific document when a specific question is asked for is the core of the product that we built for. In order to explain this further, I can give you a quick demo of the Beazle solution. Since it is powered by Copilot, it is very well integrated with the Teams application. So it comes in as a chatbot within the Teams, and you can just simply ask a question to Beazle, how do you create a vendor? And then it will give you a step-by-step guide on how do you do that particular process. Then you can ask very simple questions like, do I need to attach something for creating a vendor? And then according to the specific document, it will tell you whether it is required or not. So on, so forth. You can always ask it in different areas, be it how do I create a released product? And it will give you step-by-step guide again. So this is the power of Beazle, and this is one of the features that we utilized using Copilot. That's it, guys. That was all we had to demonstrate for this particular presentation. I just wanted to focus on the point that even though we have shown only specific features of the solution, it is so much more than what we could showcase in the interest of time. We would like to take any questions if you have any. Over to Dennis.
Just before that, well, thank you very much, Sutapa. as you can see, and as you stated, we're touching on some key points on what's new in the solution, what's new in the technology that is now being delivered and is delivering with a lot of added value to these clients. And just touching on the clients, we have some testimonials you can read here. So flavor and fragrances firm, that's Bell Flavor and Fragrances. And the testimonials related to both their new implementation for the ASEAN region out of Singapore, as well as their corporate in Chicago. Diamond Beverages, Coca-Cola client, went live within the last quarter. Bisleri, the largest mineral water company in India, went live in the last quarter. So 3 companies there, including Bell, went live. Select Wines is somewhat profile. I'll just touch on them. So they're the largest wine merchant in Canada, and their profile in terms of we supporting a broad solution. We not only support finance and operations in this particular client, they use the Business Central solution, very, very happy with it. And they've implemented to now the solution that was just being presented around data confluence to access a very large amount of data in terms of their wines across the many geos they support. Lastly, but not least, Coca-Cola India is leveraged OnActuate for that same reason, for analytics across, of course, a large country, large geo, and a very robust, I would say, bottling industry, with we supporting many of the clients in that geography. Next slide. The last thing I would like to do is just note that with all of our solutions, we call it solution in a box. We provide call it a templated implementation approach. And, rather than, time materials that has the challenges of maybe longer implementation and becoming more costly, not having the time to value you need, our template implementation is tied to a firm scope. And the firm scope is related to the fact that that is OnActuate, have been working in this industry and process manufacturing for many, many years. And we know what needs to be implemented in terms of the number of discrete processes for finance or for supply chain, and that tied to your red accounting. So we provide a template approach for food and beverage, and it provides lower risk, lower cost, and faster time to value. And that's what our clients want. Next slide. I'd like to thank you for attending the session today. And we have a few questions that have been posted in chat beforehand that have been submitted to us. First question is, can dispatches be planned with different groups of vehicles with ARS processed orders for a customer? And I'll pass that over to our subject experts.
So thank you for the question. So yes, definitely. OA bottling solution allows to modify the vehicle group during the sales order generation, and based on that, system also calculates the order quantity, vehicle capacity.
Okay, great. The second question is it possible, if we do not want to create sales generating assets and fixed assets and only maintain inventory, can we do that?
Okay, yes, definitely. As it is a standard solution, if we do not want to create any inventory as a fixed asset into the system, yes, we can do that. It is a straightforward fit into the FNO system.
Okay. Last question that was submitted was, can ARS process and will it integrate with any DMS, so distribution management system for closing stock, and how does it do that?
Yes, basically the integration, how it works is basically it works based on the APIs, or we can also use the CSV files. So our bottling solution is compatible with the both solution. We can also use the API method for the integration or the Excel based applications.